Hi there. This is some quick full body mobility. Get into all those areas that tend to get tight pretty quickly. So before we get started, I just want to remind you of how you sit, making sure you don't go into that posterior pelvic tilt where you're falling backwards. So when you're sitting in a cross-legged seat, make sure you're not doing this. You can take the folded blanket, place it behind you, sit on the very edge, and it kind of feels like you're falling, your sit bone's on the very edge, and all it does is it tilts your pelvis forward, but it lengthens your spine so you have great room to breathe, but also you're protecting your lower back. So it's a great way to be able to sit up tall without any hindrance. So use that, please, if you need. I'm a big proponent of props. So just find yourself in a comfortable seat and just take a moment. Since you're here, I just want you to pause and enjoy your breath, taking a break from your concentration on the screen. Close your eyes and just settle into it for a moment into your body. And just feel your belly moving out and in and letting the shoulders release. Maybe try closing your mouth, feeling the difference with the mouth closed. And can you soften your eyelids? And very slowly float open your eyes. And hold on to opposite elbows. I want you to feel them pulling down and tilt your left ear to your left shoulder. Breathe in to that right side of the neck. Keep pulling the elbows down. So you're not doing anything with your torso. It's just a lateral tilt with the neck. So left ear to left shoulder. Keep pulling the elbows down, sitting up tall. Stay with your breath. And now slowly come upright and tilt your right ear to your right shoulder and pull the elbows down. Notice how it feels on this side. So now you're getting the left side of the neck and the upper traps. Keep pulling the elbows down. Slowly come back to center and now switch the crossing of the arms. We're going to get the front of the neck and the back of the neck. So pulling the elbows down, slowly draw your chin to your chest. And see if you can go a little bit more than you think you're doing, because I want you to get into the hairline, really stretch into that area, because that's where the tension usually goes when it goes into the neck. It goes deep into the suboccipital muscles, which is where your hairline is at the bottom of the skull. And they're small little muscles, but they can be very prominent with tension. And just stay with your breath. Don't even worry about how you're breathing. I just want you to feel yourself breathing. Keep pulling the elbows down. And very slowly, now keep the mouth closed and draw your chin all the way up. Keep pulling the elbows down. Go for one more breath. And slowly bring your head and neck back to center. Okay, release your arms down by your side. And I want you to really pay attention to your upper traps. We're going to start opening up the shoulders and the upper back. So draw the shoulders up to the ears and circle them down and around. Two more. Up to the ears, down and around. And shoulders up, back, down. Now reverse. Go back, up, roll forward, back, up, roll forward, and one more time, back, up, roll forward. Okay, so now I want you to use your breath with this. Draw the shoulders all the way up to the ears as high as they can go. Keep the bottom ribs drawing down towards your hips. Inhale, open your mouth, and exhale, drop. That should feel good. Let's do that 2 more times so you get the hang of it. Inhale, open the mouth, and last one. Inhale, open the mouth. Good. Okay, now keep sitting up tall and bend the elbows. You're going to have your knuckles face the screen and start to draw circles, slow and smooth. I want you to visualize the circle that you're drawing to really open up the wrists. Keep that tall spine, and I want you to pay attention that everything is working together. Whether you're moving it or not, the whole body is supporting itself. Okay, now reverse the circles. And notice if one hand, one wrist has more fluidity in it than the other. And anytime I ask you for an inquiry just to check in, it's just an observation. It's just paying attention and shake it out. It's never a judgment. It's just like, oh, okay, my right side is tighter this time than my left side, and it was more open before. And we don't want to give it a label because there's already so many labels, and we're just trying to just move our body and take care of our body because it's where we live. Okay, now make your way onto your hands and knees, spreading the fingers, shoulders over the wrists and hips over the knees. Curl the toes and start to circle your torso around the wrists. So opening up the wrist in a completely different way. There are so many variations. Try not to arch your lower back when you're doing this. I want you to feel a little bit of structure. And now reverse the circles. And just notice how it feels when you add weight in different portions of that circle. Okay, come back to center. Keep the toes curled and pull your heart and chest forward as you pull the palms energetically toward your knees. You should feel a nice stretch in your abdominals too. Now release the toes and exhale, push the mat forward, let go of the head, and really round the spine. Stretch out your lower back and the neck. Curl, lift your heart, and look up. Release your toes, exhale, push and round, let go of the head. And one more time. Curl the toes, lift the heart, look up. And release, exhale, round, let go of the head, empty out all the breath. Now stay here for a moment, keep pushing straight arm, and see how much you can empty out the breath, really round the spine like a cat does in your cat pose, and little pulses forward and back. Keep those arms straight, little pulses forward and back. And slowly become still. And now shift your butt toward your heels. And notice that I didn't move my arms. Now you can slide them back a little bit, just enough so that you can push into the mat. We're going to get into the upper back, the thoracic spine. So spread the fingers and pull your chest forward. Lift your chest, pull the palms toward your knees. Look up, think cow pose. And exhale, round into cat. Inhale, lift, look up. Exhale, push the mat away. Exhale, round into cat. One more time. Inhale, lift, look up. And exhale, round. And very slowly release. And just for a moment, curl your toes, sit on your heels. And shake out your wrist. Let your wrists really flop and shake them out. Give them a good shake. We were on the palms for a little bit. And now you can release. You can just place your palms on your thighs. So I just want you to get a little stretch in the soles of the feet. This is intentional. And if you're feeling like your face is turning fire engine red, that is probably because you really need this. So you're really getting a stretch on the soles of the feet. and opening them up, because whenever we're in footwear, it's like a cast where our feet don't get to work naturally with the muscles they have on the sole of the feet and the top of the foot, the whole foot in general, and then walking on a hard surface like cement or sidewalk. It really tightens up our feet, which you might be feeling right now. So I invite you to stay with me and breathe through it for one more breath. Your spine, your torso sitting back is definitely adding weight, and that's where the sensation is coming from. But I just want you to find that grace and stay with it, taking care of your body. You're doing good if you're with me. Okay, now slowly come out of the position and just roll out the ankles. You can wiggle the toes. Okay. And now I'm going to turn toward the side of the mat and take the left foot out to the side. So I want you to think about trying to keep your hips facing to the side of the mat. And we're just going to kind of play a little bit in getting into the groin, the hip, and keep your palms on your hip. But I'm going to turn to the side just so you can see this one aspect, this one part. I don't want you to arch your lower back. I want you to think about drawing the tailbone down into like a posterior tilt, but it's actually going to be a neutral pelvis versus an excessive pelvis position. And that's just going to help you open up the groin on the straight leg, and it'll help open up on the bent leg, but we're going to move through this. So just keep that alignment. Try and keep the alignment of your knee and your foot, palms on the hips, and then shift forward, breathing into that stretch. And yes, you can let the knee pass the toes. You do that all the time. You walk upstairs. Okay, so keep shifting forward. Make sure you're not arching your lower back. You can check with your bottom ribs. If they're flaring forward and out, that's a key that's happening. So keep that tension, that healthy tension, when you're just shifting forward and back. So I'm going to always mention that we are taking care of the body, and the whole body is working together. All right, so you want to keep that spine tall, your core engaged in terms of the healthy tension, shifting forward and back, and just make sure the knee is just shifting past the toes for right now. Okay, now we're going to move a little bit. So step the foot a little bit toward the corner of the mat. And just shifting forward and back. Keep drawing the tailbone down. So again, you don't want to arch the lower back. And just notice if anything starts to change as you start to move the foot and move it again. So my foot is getting closer to the floor, but also closer to the right side as we're moving. And again, step it a little bit more toward the floor, toward the right, shifting forward and back. Notice if the range is starting to feel a little bit easier. And again, stepping it forward again. And of course, if you're feeling any tension or any issues in the knee, don't shift or maybe stay in the first position. And now you're going to have the knee facing forward. So now it's a closed hip. Both hips are facing forward. And you're just going to shift forward and back. And squeeze the right glutes. So you still keep opening up that front of the right hip. And go for one more. And release. And reassess so we can do the other side. So take your right knee out to the side. And again, draw that tailbone down. Keep the bottom ribs in and down. So you have that core structure, the front, sides, and back of your torso. Palms on the hips. And just start shifting forward and back. And how does the stretch feel? The opening feel? How is the range of motion in the hip, in your ankle? And these are all just ideas to pay attention to. You don't have to think about everything. I am just calling them out so that you can continue being curious about how your body is moving. Good. And one more. And now step it out again. So you're stepping slowly. We're going to be stepping toward the left. And notice if anything starts to change. And move it again. Move the right foot again. Shifting forward and back. And move the foot again. Seeing how that range of motion is going as you work the right side. Moving the foot again. Is there one position that you're like, wow, I could stay here forever, or wow, I can't wait to get out of it? And move the foot again. We're almost to the center. And now move to center. And I'm going to adjust. Shifting forward and back. Checking in with that range of motion. Keeping that tall spine. Okay, now shift back. And you're going to stay on your knees. You're going to sit on your heels. I know you're excited to do that. So I'm going to just show you from the side. And I invite you to try this even just for like 3 breaths if possible. We're going to actually move. So I'm going to face you for a moment. So you're going to bring your arms into goalpost and try to have them in line with your shoulders. So try not to have them here or here, but keep the bottom ribs. I'll show you from the side view. Keep the bottom ribs in and down, tall spine, and your elbows wide, chest broad. So I really want you to feel the chest opening. So we're going to do a variation of cat-cow. So elbows wide. And now lift the heart and the chest. I have not forgotten about your toes and your feet. Exhale, round, elbows toward each other. See if you can get the elbows, the forearms, and the palms to touch. Inhale, lift, open up. And you will arch your back a little bit to lift your chest. And exhale, round. So you are doing a version of cat-cow. Inhale, lift, look up. Exhale, round. One more, try and stay with me. Inhale, lift. Exhale, round. And release. Place the palms down and wiggle the toes. Circle out the ankles. And you can come into a cross-legged seat. So if you stay with me, I am so grateful that you tried it. And that is the premise behind the method of the way I teach, is that I really want you to explore trying poses, especially if they look intimidating, because you never know what's possible. You never know what you can do. And all you have to do is try. And every time you try, it gets just a little bit easier, and it becomes like this new thing that you're learning and developing and growing. So give yourself that grace and that time to just try and explore moving your body. Be curious moving your body. And you're going to start to feel better. You're going to start to feel good. And I really believe in having fun at moving your body. So thank you for joining me. Comment below with insights you've had and any questions and how you're feeling. I will see you next time. I'm Janelle DeRoss. I'll see you soon.